having vivid dreams these days, vivid dreams. And I'm waking up sometimes from my dreams. They're not nightmares, but they're significant dreams. And I feel myself in them. When I wake up, I can't tell if I'm awake or asleep. So it's very vivid, which I don't remember. I don't remember the last time I've had dreams this vivid, but it's every night, and it's pretty interesting. And I'm also having. I can't tell if it's the bed or if I need to be. I mean, when I practice yoga every day, I sleep better, and I haven't practiced yoga in a couple days, so just gonna get back on that. I'll let you know how that goes. Anyway, today I just want to marvel at the human response to post-traumatic stress. Real quick, when I first was introduced to the term PTSD, I got a ton of guidance from veterans saying, don't say the D, just call it PTS. And the reason why I don't say the D is because, soldiers won't acknowledge the statement PTSD. They don't want to admit to having it. It's the problem is the D. The problem isn't the D. The problem is culture. The problem is the system. The problem is a system where if you talk about your experience with post-traumatic stress, you'll get kind of put in a box, literally. Like you'll go into a box of mental health casualty, or you won't get your retirement, or your unit will not, totally interact with you. It's in the system. It's on TV. It's everywhere. The interaction with mental health is the problem, and part of that problem is expressed by not wanting to use the language, et cetera, et cetera. But that's really not the big issue. The big issue is the system. And we're evolving the system, so don't get caught up on that. That's not a like, I want to program. No, whatever. It's just, this is how it works, right? This is how progress works. And so part of what we're fighting against is cultural. And so part of the Honor the Fight, Support the Healing campaign is to kind of get at that cultural element and be like, look, the system's broken with regards to this stuff, but you know what a pandemic does? You know what the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan did? It put this stuff in the forefront. It put it right out in front of us and said, keep acting like it doesn't exist. See what happens. Keep acting like people who respond with X and Y experience from their post-traumatic stress. See what happens when that number grows and grows and grows and there's no resources for them. See what happens when it keeps showing up in the movies as, oh, just be tough, be a man. See what happens. Well, we're going to see what happens, and it's devastatingly sad. And part of the reason why it's devastatingly sad is because we've learned a lot from the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, and we know that one of the biggest issues that we face is just acknowledging the fact that there's an issue and owning it. Owning the problem. Owning the problem. Once you own the problem, once you honor the fight, then you can support the healing. But until you own the problem, all you do is create armor. And the problem with armor is that it protects you, but it separates you. And the more protected you are and the more separated you are, the less chance you have to connect. And the less chance you have to connect means that the less you're connected. And the less you're connected means the less that you feel. And the less that you feel means that you're just going to create more armor. And it's devastating. And so when it gets to the disorder level, right? So post-traumatic stress, everybody has a post-traumatic stress response. It's just some of those responses are different. And when it gets to the level of a disorder, then that means that you're that you're in a hole. And my hope is to help keep you from getting into that hole. So, I just want to marvel at the human ability to respond, or what happens when a human kind of responds to post-traumatic stress disorder. Our minds can stay stuck on high alert for years. Talk to Vietnam veterans who have been on high alert for years. Like, think about that. That's amazing that your mind can do that. Be stuck on high alert for years. The consequences are devastating, but the fact that it can do it is amazing. Totally change how we interact with people. Like, smooth flow and interaction with each other is amazing. It's an amazing thing that we're social animals and that we can interact with each other so well. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's part of what makes America so special. The fact that that gets disrupted, that breaks down, I mean, the opposite of isolation, right, is total engagement, wonderful, loving engagement, so it's incredible that the mind and the body and the being can do that. Let's see, what else is here that's just really kind of incredible. The way that the mind can get kind of stuck in these negative thought loops. Think about the opposite of that. Think about the opposite of getting caught in a negative thought loop. It's optimism, it's faith, it's hope, it's love. So when we experience these things shutting down, it's not like, oh my gosh, oh no, I'm a bad person, or failed, No, it's just a reminder that, man, look at how sophisticated it is to be alive. Wow, I'm literally thinking about hurting people and punishing people all day long, and I didn't used to think that way, nor do I have to continue to think that way. It doesn't mean I'm broken. It just means that, damn, that's really amazing that happens. My goodness. And not only does it happen to you, it can happen to other people too. Not only does it happen to other people too, it happens enough that there's a whole criteria for what that represents. It's amazing. That is amazing that this is what happens with us. Let's see. Most of these things all feed into each other, right? So if you look at the opposite of the inability to remember important aspects of the event, the opposite of persistent negative beliefs, the opposite of distorted cognition, the opposite of negative emotional states, and the opposite of marked diminished interests, the opposite of feeling detached. I mean, if you just take the DSM-5 criteria and you just look at the opposite of each of its pieces, what it represents is just that the human condition is incredibly sophisticated and dynamic and complex. It's amazing. So the only point I want to make to you, and then we'll get into the training, is it's counterculture to acknowledge and accept the significance of your response to post-traumatic stress. The response culturally taught, and it happened yesterday when I was in a snowball fight with three adolescent boys who live on the street with me. I got one kid up the street, the other kid to the house to the right, and the other kid to the house to the left. We had a snowball fight, and it was awesome. And it's super fun just being around kids and listening to them and just watching them, right? Just pelting snowballs at them was the best. But they're telling each other, come on, go attack him. And only one of them was really willing to do it. And he was like, whatever, I'll just dive in. He's the guy that you send to attack the machine gun, right? But the other ones are like, be a man, like don't retreat, be a man. And I'm listening to this. I didn't say anything, of course. I'm like, oh God, it starts young. But that's what happened to me. So like, you have to know that the fight that you're up against is the fight of our culture, and that's fine. It's okay. It's been way worse than it is now, way worse. And we're going to talk about the history of PTSD tomorrow. It's been way worse than it is today, so don't worry about that. But you're going to fight against that, and that's fine. Don't get caught up on it. Just honor the fight. Your body is fighting against the significance of the trauma. So help it. Help it. Honor that fight. Honor it. And let's talk about it. Share the experience with people who you think might be helpful. Talk to your friends that are, therapists. Talk to your friends who are veterans. Talk to your friends who are administrators who have to be more aware of this stuff. Talk to people who are in the realm of mindfulness. They're not going to fix you. You're going to need a team, right? Because part of what happens when it gets deep is that you build this armor up, and the armor shows up in mind, body, and spirit, and you can't fix it like that. It's not a light switch. So it's a team, and part of what that does is you don't really appreciate how good life can be until it's taken away from you. And post-traumatic stress takes that away, but it doesn't take it away forever. And what it ultimately does is show you just how precious your life is and how wonderful life can be. And the way you appreciate that, again, is you got to work for it. So I encourage you to see your response to your trauma as a challenge, as life saying, hey, look, earn this. Earn this. And in the process of earning it, you're going to help other people earn it too. And then once you get it back, and once you start to feel that connection again, that loving connection again, you're going to feel it like you never felt it before. And then you're just like, huh. And then you realize you're stronger than you realize you've ever been before. And then you can start helping other people. And then you start supporting the healing. So honor the fight. All right? My toes are cold here. Let's practice. First bell. What do you see? Light and shadow, shapes, straight lines, colors. Nature stuff, human stuff, people stuff, man-made stuff, nature-made stuff. When you're ready, close your eyes. What kind of sounds do you hear? Machine sounds, nature sounds, people sounds. Try casting a broad sound awareness. Hear as many sounds as you can. Then zoom in on one sound in particular. There's always more to be heard. Always. Are there any pockets of silence that you can hear? Total quiet. Move into your body, starting at your ground. Notice what parts of your body are touching what's beneath you. Move into your pelvis. Core. When you get to your heart space, move your shoulder blades a little bit. Imagine moving your shoulder blades back together by 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters, an inch. Notice what happens in your chest space. Find a nice middle where your shoulders and your chest are balanced on top of your pelvis, balanced on top of your core. Throat. Jaw. See if you can feel air moving up and down your throat. Top of the head. Soften the face. Soften eyebrows. Soften cheeks. Soften nose. Soften mouth. Soften chin. Add a little smile. Notice your breath and put your hand on your body where you feel your breath is currently positioned. So if you just feel where your breath is, feel its location, put your hand where you feel it. Now, keeping your hand there, double your breath in size, make it bigger. Triple it in size, make it bigger. Make it as big as you possibly can, and on the exhale, drop your hand. Now bring your breath down. So imagine your breath is going down into your belly, and for 2 rounds of breath, belly breathe. Feel your belly move when you breathe. Next, breathe up. Breathe up into your chest. Feel your chest moving as you breathe. 2 rounds. Now picture your sides. Picture your sides. Inhale, think sides, feel sides. 2 rounds. Inhale, think sides, feel sides. Now last 2 rounds, going to be a 3-part breath. You're going to inhale, feel the belly. Inhale, feel the chest. Inhale, feel the upper back. So you want to imagine breathing all the way up into the back, 3 parts, and then exhale from the upper back, the chest, to the belly. Let's do 3 rounds of that. After your 3 rounds, just be still Moving into fourth bell. Any hand placement you want. Gratitude. Maybe you're praying here. Maybe you're grateful to. Maybe it's not grateful to, maybe it's just the cultivation of gratitude itself. Shift it. Shift it to compassion. Maybe it's compassion, maybe it's asking for compassion from. Or maybe it's asking for something to be compassionate to someone. Maybe you're trying to intercede on someone's behalf. Maybe it's more personal. You're compassionate towards yourself. Maybe it's more metaphysical. Maybe it's from your heart to someone else. But imagine that you have power to ask on someone's behalf or to give from yourself. Whatever feels most authentic for you, that's what you want to do. And then collectively, let's acknowledge those that are kind of in the PTS experience. You know, they've experienced some very difficult moments, super hard. And maybe they're struggling in terms of like, is this something I need to address, or this should just get better on its own? So for all the people out there who are inside of the trauma experience, the post-traumatic experience, may you find the courage to kind of honor this fight and talk to people about it. Talk to the people who you think can help you. May you find the courage within yourself to talk to the people that can help you, because we need you in the fight. We need you to support the healing. We need your willingness to go into these kind of hard places, the places that, you know, are the opposite of love, the opposite of connection, the opposite of joy, the opposite of excitement. We need you to talk about your experience with that stuff so that you can be an ally in this fight against the trauma that has been and is continuing as the pandemic. We honor you, we honor this fight, and we thank you for helping us support the healing. 2 breaths to finish. All right, armor down. We'll get some coffee. Came in 5 minutes early. Win. All right.